This past weekend, the Quad City Storm had their season come to an end. As the attention turns to the offseason, I talked with head coach Dave Pszenyczny about the highs and lows of it all. Coach, finished the season 48 points, 10 points out of the playoff spot. What did you identify in your exit meetings as the main issue this season?
Well, I mean, I didn't get the final number tally from our athletic trainer, but I believe we were closing in on 400 man games lost in a season. And, you know, when you go months without being able to healthy scratch somebody because you don't have enough bodies, it's kind of difficult to get anything going as far as chemistry. And it seems like we were just snake bitten with timing. You know, leading the league in the first, month and a half and doing a very good job of it. And then all of a sudden one call up, and then it just seemed like we had 1 to 2 injuries every time we got a guy called up. So not how you want a season to end by any means. I was telling most of the guys that we had seemed like 3 teams, all season, and it just seemed like we couldn't get any consistency going.
When you have a lot of different lineup changes like you mentioned, how do you deal with that as the season goes on?
Well, not to get into too much detail, but there were, practices Monday, Tuesdays where we're dealing with, 12 skaters. Hard to do anything system-wise there, and then guys get called up on a Thursday, and then all of a sudden Friday you're scrambling to find a player to just fill a spot in the lineup, and most of those players are just rental players that can't be there for practice but then can fill in for games.
One of the positives that you did have was the play of your wingers, Mike Moran, as well as Cole Golka. They had 30 points this season. What stood out about their play?
Mo obviously had great improvements in the offseason, and that's what I tell the players here. Like, you're not going to improve during the season. You have to do it in the offseason. So that's on them as professionals to do that. But, Mo made some space for him the first year with his physicality, and obviously had success this year and did the improvements in the offseason. And it was unfortunate to lose him. I know he was playing through injuries as well, and Cole Golka too. He kind of made me laugh because he started bringing up when he was on the IR, and I said, Golks, like, I don't even remember putting you on the IR. And then once he told me, I was like, oh yeah, you played 3 weekends in a row injured because we didn't have enough roster or IR spots for him to go, so we had to actually wait for a player to come off IR so he could fill that slot. So that I've never seen anything in the 13 years I played professionally, and obviously this is my 5th year coaching. I haven't seen it, and I'm just hoping that next year we're just healthy.
That is really a wild situation. As far as offseason goes, you mentioned you want the players to put in that work in the offseason to get better for next year. What do you tell them in these interviews about what they need to focus on?
It's by each individual, right? One guy might need to be working on his foot speed, another guy just, a little bit less underhandling of the puck. I think stamina is a huge thing. Guys always want to play more minutes, but if your body's not prepared to play those minutes, unfortunately, Drew and I can't put you out there. So, it's just doing the little things, being a professional, like I said earlier, and, most of these guys have to work jobs in the off season too. So they play this sport at this level for the love of the game.